Hi, it's Sophie here from Fine& Country, and today I'm joined with Terry from our Fine& Country Banbury office. Hi Terry, you all right?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just about coping in self-isolation. Speaking of, obviously now everyone's stuck at home on lockdown and are for the next few weeks as well, until we slowly go back to normality. Everyone's kind of relying on digital tools at the moment, aren't they? And I know
Yes,
that in order for us to conduct business, we really need to familiarise ourselves with these tools. I know that you've had some success with virtual viewings. Do you want to talk to us a
that's
little
right. Yeah, so obviously in normal terms, you get somebody email in or call in, and a lot of people just want to get a brochure first. And I think what's been a real positive of this situation is that rather than us sending out a brochure, which really is pretty much the same as what's online anyway, I'm actually educating buyers straight away that we're offering what's called a virtual viewing service. And I'm making them aware how easy it is for them to be part of that. And we've just had some really good success in our office where we've tied a sale up at the weekend from a virtual viewing. So anybody that actually contacts us that I get to call, when I'm talking about virtual viewings, I think maybe the slight hesitation for somebody there is they might think, oh well, actually that's not going to work, and it's not really a viewing. But I'm making it clear to anybody that contacts me or I contact them that we've just sold a house from a virtual viewing this week, so they really need to be part of it. I'm saying to them, of course, they can view the house from the comfort of their sofa at home. So it really is that simple, and it's had a really good impact so far.
Yeah, so you said that you sold a house virtually, so congratulations on that. That must have been
Thank
no
you.
mean feat.
Yeah,
Um,
very.
and I know that most people's concerns is viewing a home without physically visiting it. What platforms did you use to do this viewing and to organise it?
There's been two that we've used. The most common one has just been simply WhatsApp. So we're saying to these viewers, it's so easy. With their consent and the seller's consent, we're gonna, marry them up their phone numbers each way, and we're just doing it as if we're booking an actual viewing. So if we were to say, look, you would have gone, say, Saturday 12 o'clock, that's the time that you're going to call the seller, and then we're giving them each other's numbers, and they'll just book a time in their own diaries each end, and they'll call from a WhatsApp call on video. The other one that's worked really well has been FaceTime for anyone with iPhones, because of course what we find in there is that actually if you're watching a virtual viewing, you can actually see it on a bigger device. um, and that's worked really well. So they're the two main ones that we've been using.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like it's working for you.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of actually prepping the vendor, because obviously with virtual viewings, it is the vendor that's going to have to film the property, as they're the only ones who can be in their home at the moment. How did you prep them, and did you communicate with the buyer before they viewed the property?
Yeah, so when I've actually got the commitment from the buyer, I'll contact the seller. Now, when this all happened and we were looking at, as a result of this climate, doing virtual viewings, I spoke to all of my sellers to say that we were going to launch virtual viewing. So I gave them an insight straight away into what that would involve, telling them it's incredibly easy. I've since updated my sellers that we've now agreed a sale from a virtual viewing. So anyone that was even a little bit, oh, I don't know, nothing more powerful than saying to them, one of your competitors, if you like, has agreed a sale by doing a virtual viewing. Every vendor, as every seller's been on board. So the way I prep it is just sort of giving the seller a bit of an insight into what to do. So I've even stripped it back as far as saying, right, well, when that buyer rings you, make sure that you stood outside the front of your house, because that's the first thing that they would have seen if they were on a live viewing. So they'll answer the phone outside the front. At least then the buyer can see the house. Seller will give them a look around. I've even told the seller where to position the phone. So probably, with a forward facing camera, sort of between chest and neck, so that it's like a proper, walk around as if it's virtual. And I've told the seller that they're going to probably then be asked some questions from the buyer at the end. And I've told the buyer to ask the questions. So prep them both up. And then on that basis, the seller knows what time they're going to get the call. The buyer knows when to ring, and then we can leave the rest to happen.
Great. I think it is worth saying, isn't it, that communication really is key here. You kind of
Yeah.
yeah, you're putting it in the vendor's hands basically, and you don't really have much of an element of control. In terms of the process, like talk me through that. So was the vendor comfortable using technology and filming their home, or did they need more guidance?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a couple of more mature vendors, shall we say, and just giving them a couple of, tips around it. They've been fine. I've not had a single vendor say they don't want to do it. They've all been brilliant sellers, and they know they want to sell the house ultimately. So each seller that I've spoken to have been more than happy to do it. And it's just a case of making sure that before they get that first call, they are A, comfortable with doing it, B, they know how to do it, and C, they sort of know what to expect. And I think as long as we prep them up for that, they're going to expect the call. And when the call comes in, in fact, actually, the feedback I've had is the sellers have said they've really enjoyed doing it. So it's, I think everyone's at home maybe going slightly mad, and maybe they're enjoying doing something a bit different. So,
yeah. Do you have any top tips for conducting virtual viewings for other agents or for vendors?
I think in terms of top tips, I've just said, what would you do to your house if you got a buyer come in 2 hours' time? And I think that's important, because I think sometimes, although it's only on a mobile phone, if the house looks bad because people have just been in and everyone's, people aren't probably quite so disciplined with the house at the moment, that can still show through a phone screen. So I've been saying to the sellers, get the house ready, get every single light on, side lights, main lights, any lights at all, so that it looks bright, it looks welcoming. And then I've also said to them, feel free to be really ultra relaxed with these buyers, and even have a little bit of banter with them about why you're giving them a tour around on the mobile phone, and just make it really comfortable, enjoy it. And I'll say the same to the buyer. And, when I'm phoning, I'll phone and get the feedbacks as normal after a normal viewing. And I've had buyers and sellers literally on every viewing saying how enjoyable it was and how nice the other party was. And I think that's half the battle.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe one of the main concerns, or something that maybe people don't necessarily think about, is although you're there to help them with the actual, guide them through filming their property and the technology behind it, it's also, your expertise in how to stage a home to sell, how to, interact with prospective buyers, telling the buyer what it is you love about the home as you're going through each room. Why do you love the view so much, or why is the kitchen so important to you, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And whenever I'm doing a viewing, I will always point out something that another potential buyer loves about the house. And I've said that to my sellers, if you've got a room you're ultra proud of, tell them why you're proud of it, tell them what you've done to it, tell them why you love the place and why you'll be sad to go. And it can, I think the main thing as well of this is not just doing a viewing and it just being, well, that was something that we've done. It's about actually creating some urgency as well. And, I'm not going to lie, not all virtual viewings are going to lead to a sale, but I think the message I would give an agent, I think we can all say we've done this. How many times have we spent 2 hours leaving the office, going to do an appraisal, then driving back to the office when that person had no intention of selling whatsoever? We've all done it. So if we can do this in the comfort of our own home, and we might spend a couple of hours booking virtual viewings and they don't come to anything, if anything, what we're doing is we're getting out there, our brand, what we're all about, and why we are, so far ahead of the competition out there at the minute. And I think the good news is that the guy that's bought this house, he shared with us that he'd rang a number of agents. He's under pressure at the minute to find his buyer's ready to go, and he's rang all the agents, and they've all just basically said, well, you're not going to get a viewing with us because obviously we're not open, and we've got no staff and we're not doing viewings. And he was quite shocked actually when he saw on the website we are saying we're doing virtual viewings. He asked what it was about, and we booked the viewing, and then it's led to him getting his dream home. And of course our sellers now have been able to move on to the one they want to buy.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear. So talk me through the follow-up process. So the viewing's been conducted, it's all gone well. What do you do next?
Just as simple as if it was just a normal viewing. I'll contact the buyer. Now, they will, the majority of the feedbacks I've had have been, well, we like it, but we'd want to see it again, properly. Which actually isn't a bad thing, because if we hadn't have done that virtual viewing before, come 2, 3, 4 weeks or whenever this is relaxed, that they can go, we're building up a bank of people now that are going to go back for what will essentially be a second viewing. We'll just follow them up and chase them up as normal. We'll relay the feedback to the seller. And then obviously we're letting sellers know that, you know, either it was a no, or they want to come back again, and we'll be in touch with them when we can book in a second viewing. Obviously we were really pleased with this one that we've sold because we just created urgency. We did have another interested party in that house, so I made that really clear a number of times to this potential buyer, and he decided he'd go for it.
Great. And as you mentioned just before, obviously Fine and Country, we are trying to stay ahead of the curve and offer as much as we can to our customers and also to our branches around the UK and internationally as well. Now, we've got our virtual viewing tool, and we're going to continue to have it after lockdown has ended and everyone's back in the office and back to normal. From your experience with virtual viewings, do you think this will change how you conduct business after lockdown?
100%. You know, as I say, I'm looking forward to getting that phone call again from a client down in Cornwall or wherever that can't come up for 2 weeks, and we can get that viewing done. It's something we obviously haven't really thought about. You know, I mean, I've actually just bought a new car from a virtual viewing, and I've just done it right in the middle of this lockdown when I'd never even thought of virtual viewings and things like that. So I've actually got some personal experience with it as well. But I think moving forward, I'm going to be able to do a lot more of these, and I've said from week one that this is going to catch on, and I'm more and more sure of that, and especially now we've actually agreed a sale out of doing it.
Yeah, great. Congratulations once again on the sale. You're doing a fantastic job and really leading the way for the rest of Fine and Country agents as well. I know that if there's ever a time to consider doing virtual viewings, now really is it. Yeah, thanks for joining me today, Terry. It's been a pleasure. Good luck for the rest of lockdown. Hopefully we'll be back to normal soon, and hopefully you'll get some more virtual viewings in.
Certainly will. No, good to talk to you.
All right, thanks, Terry.